The lion does not concern himself with the fecal matter in his drawers. What are you talking about? I open up my little chat combiner and the first thing I see from Tarballs is, the lion shit himself. Who? There was a diaper fur on the front page of Twitch, but that was a tiger, not a lion. So I don't know what you're talking about. Mixing slop with crime to get slime? I don't know if Thought Slime is a he anymore. People are saying Thought Slime transed out. But it could also just be fashion. And I don't see any claim to have transed out yet. Am I gonna screw you again tomorrow? What are you talking about? Sorry, screw you again today? Maybe I'll screw you tomorrow, watch out. Give you the real screwdriver, give you the drive treatment. I'll go Gosling on you. Stomp your skull in an elevator. Ooh. He had makeup and stuff in older vids as well. Yeah, I vaguely remember it. Not that I've seen that much of Thought Slime. I've seen the shoplifting video, with which I was unimpressed. And yes, of course, the title is a reference to Thought Slime. But my assumption, based on the title being Why Libs Love a Charlie Kirk, what we're actually looking at is left on left. Although I imagine someone like Thought Slime would argue that it is not left on left. It's gonna be like fucking commies versus Democrats. Commies versus Democrats video, complaining that people are too sympathetic to Kirk or something or whatever. Or like, you know, the fucking liberals are actually secretly reactionaries, and Charlie Kirk allows them to express that by saying, you know, he's so reasonable. I don't know, we'll see. Cut a liberal and a diaper fur bleeds, or whatever. Something like that, right? A name like Matilda. You could have Matilda be your name as a dude, why not? A lot of people don't know that my full name is Timothina. Few people know this. I have to cancel myself, by the way. I've been torturing my girlfriend. I wake her up in the middle of the night by shrieking into her ear. At like 2 a.m. I'll wake her up at 2 a.m. by just fucking shrieking into her ear. Though I think I should be shown some lenience. I should be shown some lenience because I don't do it on purpose. I've gotten into the habit of just waking up screaming. It's not good. Timberly. I had a teacher who I swear to fuck when I was a kid in primary school. One of my teachers for a year called me Kim. I was fucking convinced of that shit. She's very old though. Maybe it's just an old person not being able to pronounce stuff thing. We may never know. Well, we will never know. She's like I said, she's old. That bitch 100% dead at this point. 100% murdered. I made the mistake of starting a Megabonk run before starting the stream. So I have that paused in the background, but I'm aware that sometimes when you click around, even when the window is not in focus, it takes inputs, so I might throw away a pretty decent run. That's the kind of sacrifice I'm willing to make to bring you your stream, okay? Alright? What the hell was that noise? Where's that showing? Go away. We're not playing Megabonk. I just happened to be doing a run. Hopefully it will stay paused on that screen and not take inputs and kill itself. Fingers crossed. Bam. This instead is what we have to look at today. That's why I apologized. It's not that long though. Just play while reacting. I don't know if that. I don't know if that works too good. I'm on the part of the run where you gotta press B at the portal or you're fucking dead. Like don't over ghost. Short version of Kames. Excuse me. Kameson. James Jonah Kameson. Oh. But yeah, this is gonna be. I don't know what Thought Slime is. Should we call Thought Slime a commie? Is that unreasonable? How about this is gonna be leftist versus liberal. There we go. I believe this will be leftist versus liberal on the in the arena of your feelings about Charlie Kirk. Okay.
Coming at you with a timely video. By now you're probably sick of hearing about Charles Entertainment Kirk. I know I am. I was sick of hearing about him years ago, but I'm way sicker of it now that he's been murdered.
He sort of looks like a girl I went to school with. She looked kind of weird.
I don't want to talk about this. Everybody's already talked about it, and we're all sick of debating whether we need to be civil about him, sick of the apologetics done to present him as a harmless advocate of free speech and open debate, as though the contents of his speech and what he debated in service of are irrelevant. I don't want to participate in a tiresome, feckless debate about whether one must be civil in the face of a personal tragedy befalling an evil dip.
Stop. Horrendous. It's not just about whether you need to be civil or not. What was going on was he got fucking killed. And people were like, yeah, but he fucking said this so good. He fucking said this so good. It's not just people going, well, the content of his speech is irrelevant. He's fucking an amazing hero of this or that. Out of nowhere. We had people going, like... It's being presented here as if the extreme is the degree to which people were going to sanitize Charlie Kirk, ignoring how fucking sicko mode so many people went.
Shit. From my tone, you can probably determine my position on that. Nor do I want to spend this time dancing on his grave, because as much as I disliked the man, on balance, I do tend to dislike targeted political assassination less. But beyond that,
fair enough.
His death creates a lot of problems for everyone else that we are clearly not prepared to handle. More on that later. Not that I really need to explain what I mean by that anyway, because you're a person.
Don't think you saw the same elation when Epstein got murked. That's real different though, because the Epstein death is like you're fucking covering stuff up. That's like yeah, good, the pedo lord is dead. But also the pedo lord who knows stuff is dead. Like, his contents of his brain no longer accessible by any means. Right? It's a bit different.
On the planet, you've read a news headline in the last 2 weeks. You know what I'm talking about. No, I have a much simpler purview for this video.
It's time to go to camp.
Why do libs feel the need to defend Charlie Kirk and those like him? Now I get why right-wingers do.
Fucking dog. Doing it following the assassination. Easy answer. We don't need 20 minutes. Because fucking nut jobs were going total sicko mode. Full bore. Yes, assassination based. That's probably why. That's like a fucking major element of why.
I understand what they get out of it. He's their guy after all. They want to sanitize.
Pre-assassination commentary on liberals defending Charlie Kirk would be different to talking about what they were saying post, okay?
His image and do this whole myth-making process to have a martyr they can use to justify all of the horrible shit they clearly wanted to do anyway. Makes perfect sense. No questions there. But
did you say any sort of sanitization? Sanitize his image? They don't need to sanitize it, because to them everything he says is good.
and do this whole myth-making process to have a martyr they can use to justify all of the horrible shit they clearly wanted to do anyway. Makes perfect sense. No questions there. But libs? Libs are supposed to dislike this kind of stuff. Why are they participating in this process? Why are they so reverent? I get why they're like
Easy
condemning
answer.
Charlie's murder. That makes sense. Like,
Yeah, and then after he was murdered, what was going on?
I get why they'd be quick to say, hey, yo, we don't want to see people get killed, even people we don't like. No notes. I don't have a problem with that. In abstract, I agree with it, actually.
Okay.
And so, like, let me be careful in how I phrase this on account of YouTube's terms of service, because, like, it's really easy to be snide and callous, as I will prove throughout this video when I am snide and callous. But and I might not personally have cause to grieve the death of this evil shithead. I don't want to be perceived, however, as celebrating his murder. It's sad when people are murdered. Like, my heart goes out to his family and kids and all that, and nobody deserves to lose a loved one. Assassination is a bad thing. We don't like it,
Brave.
do we, folks?
Brave and bold. Here comes the but. There we go.
But all of that having been said, let us not mince words. Each day, Charlie Kirk rolled out of bed and worked tirelessly to make the world less safe, to raise the temperature, to make political violence more commonplace, acceptable, and lauded. He expressly did.
I gotta tell you, I'm not actually super familiar with Charlie Kirk. I know he's pro Second Amendment. That's probably enough for these people to count as, you know.
Not give a shit about the victims of gun violence. He
I know for a fact that's not true.
encouraged others not to give a shit about them either. He quite explicitly said that he felt that gun deaths were an acceptable
Yes, that's not the same as not giving a shit. Okay? I would imagine Thought Slime is pro-choice. From his side of things, like, if you're pro-choice, you're doing the same thing. You're going like, don't care about this fucking baby. It's worth it to preserve women's bodily autonomy. Baby cost now.
sacrifice.
Does that necessarily mean you're like 100% zero consideration of the growing baby or whatever? It doesn't necessarily. Some people are, but similarly, there are people who are like, don't give a fuck how many people die. Guns, hell yeah. Then there's Charlie going like, it's like a sacrifice you have to make. It's a sacrifice that's worth it. It's not like not giving a fuck. It's weighing it and making a decision which one he values more.
In the name of protecting the Second Amendment.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the
Unfortunately.
Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
He said that
I think it's worth Thought Slime being allowed to speak. You know, as a price of freedom of expression being defended, okay?
feeling empathy for
I think that's way worse than kids being murdered.
mass shooting victims allowed them to, quote, hijack the narrative. Hijack it from whom? Who else would this narrative belong to? In fact, he believed people shouldn't really care about others at all, just like in general.
Empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage.
I'm familiar with this clip in particular.
But it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a
Tim,
different time.
I keep asking you, but you never answer.
Hello, random
Are
name.
you still planning on skinning Ian Danskin and turning him into
No.
a wallet for tax refund money while you're
No.
in Japan?
I am not going to kill Ian Danskin. I am not going to Japan to hunt Ian Danskin. I'm going there for leisure. Okay?
So, the man we are meant to be having empathy for, to respect the beliefs of, literally believed empathy was damaging nonsense. It's actually an insult to his memory to have empathy for.
This is retarded. Retarded or deliberate? I've seen that full section. That is Charlie Kirk being fucking autistic. I've seen the whole... He goes... Unless I'm misremembering, I've been sick recently. I've been all fucked up recently. Doesn't he fucking go like, empathy's nonsense because it suggests you can like mind read?
For him.
Isn't it like just Charlie Kirk being super fucking autistic and going like, the idea of empathy is damaging because it suggests that you 100% accurately know what someone else feels. It suggests you can read people's minds. Nah, he's not saying, he wasn't saying what Thor Slime is presenting it as.
Which is one of the reasons why I try to do it. There has seldom existed such a high-profile and explicit advocate of arbitrary political violence. Kirk celebrated political violence done to his enemies when Paul Pelosi was attacked in his home by violence. Kirk celebrated political violence done
Put in prison. Biden should be put in prison and or given the death penalty for crimes against America. Shouldn't we be better than Charlie Kirk, though?
to his enemies
No.
when Paul Pelosi was attacked in
Would you disagree?
his home by a hammer-wielding intruder. Charlie Kirk called for a, quote, patriot to bail out the attacker. He celebrated Trump's occupation of D.C., calling for shock and awe, force, and referred to the people being targeted as cockroaches, very specific language that may not have been a deliberate invocation of
man
Nazi
say
rhetoric,
comma.
but very much accords with it. And he was, of course, an
Watch
explicit Zionist and defended the genocide in Gaza, where hundreds of thousands of people have been murdered so far.
You know, it's funny. I used to say
Nazi confirmed.
that, hey, if you as a gay person would go to Gaza, they'd throw you off of tall buildings, right? Now they don't have any tall buildings left, so I don't. Is that too soon? I'm sorry. Maybe you shouldn't kill Jews, stupid Muslims.
So much so,
Holy fuck. Okay. Our Charlie's a bit cringe.
in fact, that Israeli Prime Minister and international war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted his grief over Charlie Kirk's death, referring to Kirk
That delivery made me think of a children's cereal ad. Like, fucking silly Muslims. Jews are for kids. You get... I don't know what I'm doing. Ignore me. Ignore me.
as a lion-hearted friend of Israel. He routinely targeted vulnerable people, and I'm not talking about like populations of people here, though obviously he did that as well. I'm talking about specific
Charlie Kirk farmed lol cows.
individuals. He weaponized his platform of millions to direct bigoted harassment towards lists of educators, supposedly brainwashing the nation's youth, stirring up hate and making the listed people
I looked at some of these people on the list. They are fucking deranged retards making publicly published statements. Nah, get fucking raped. You can make a list of things people have said publicly. It's not a problem.
the targets of harassment and potential violence. His
Too bad.
political project, his goals and aspirations were uniform.
If someone seeing something you said makes them want to hurt you, it's not the fault of the person who showed them.
Violent.
They can be deranged and unreasonable for wanting to hurt you because of what you said. Right? That can be unacceptable in and of itself. It's not the fault of the person who showed the nutcase what you said. Nah.
Uniformly barbaric. He believed in state-sponsored murder for LGBTQ plus people.
Is in Leviticus 18 is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death. Miss Rachel, you quote Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. The chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matter. Lay with another man shall be stoned to death. God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matter.
He believed in forced
I need more context to that one. Because it sounds like he's doing a gotcha on this fucking whoever, Miss Rachel person. You quoted that from Leviticus. You're going, this is good. You're dodging what comes next. You're using this as a... Yeah.
children who've been the victims of rape.
That sounds like he's trying to force her to bite a bullet or back down.
To be made to give birth to their rapist's baby.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, would you want her to go through that and carry her rapist baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
He believed in repealing the Civil Rights Act.
Here's something controversial. Or rather, no, I'll say, here's something controversial. I think abortion and rape are pretty difficult topics. from your perspective, where you've decided, yeah, right thing to do is abort for the well-being of the 10-year-old. That's like, look at this monstrous answer. Consider, it's not like there are two. It's not like there's like a really good choice and then a really bad choice. From the other side, the price of protecting your kid is murdering a baby. Like, this only works. Like, this video, okay. We knew this was going to be what it was, but this video is only doing anything if you already agree.
Because he viewed people of color
This, like, we're watching masturbation.
as innately inferior.
I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. I want to.
Oh, that's pretty good. He's obviously talking about, I hope he wasn't let through without really being good enough. I hope someone who wasn't good enough was forced through because of these systems. It's a critique of DEI shit. But you have to be aware of those sound bites, Charlie.
Be as blunt as possible because now I'm connecting two dots. Wait a second, the CEO just said that he's forcing that a white qualified guy is not going to get the job. So I see this guy, he might be a nice person. I say, boy.
No. That is not what was expressed here, Thought Slime. In the absence of a pressure to get more white people in, you don't have to worry about corner cutting from as Charlie presents it. He also implies that white does not mean de facto qualified, because he literally included the qualifier, a white qualified guy. He didn't say a white guy, he said a white qualified guy. He did the opposite of what you're saying he's done.
I hope he's not a Harvard-style affirmative action student that has points for, and he landed half of his flight simulator, trials.
To put it bluntly, Charlie Kirk spent his short life in service of specifically creating the aggressive and violent conditions which went on to kill him. To wit, almost all
Retarded. He was murdered by a fucking dementoid. If you're gonna say like, oh, the fucking weirdo was able to get a gun because of Charlie. The kind of gun that was used wasn't even fucking relevant to any sort of legislation being put on the table, was it? Or no legislation being put on the table by even the most extreme fucking gun control advocates would have restricted that weapon. Am I thinking of the right assassination? There've been so many. Like, you can make some kind of gun argument, but no, he didn't make a fucking deranged queer freak wanna ventilate his neck. Well, in a sense he did, but he didn't create the conditions for that person to exist. He just was the thing that person didn't like.
Domestic terrorism in the United States is committed by white supremacists and other far-right extremists, almost all of whom would share 99% of their political DNA with Charlie Kirk. And that isn't speculation, by the way. According to a paper from the Department of Justice, since 1990, far-right extremists have committed far more ideologically motivated homicides than far-left or radical Islamist terrorists.
Do you do the thing in the US that they do here, where they'll count Islamists as far-right?
Including 227 events that took more than 520 lives. In the same period, far-left extremists committed 42 ideologically motivated attacks that took 78 lives. That paper.
Lazy. Thank you very much.
I think most of the problem is people aren't showing all the Charlie Kirk videos as he did say crazy shit like the infamous salty Thanksgiving.
What the fuck? Infamous salty Thanksgiving speech. What is this?
Charlie Kirk is
I don't really want to watch this guy. Let's see the cringe comp.
Thanksgiving can be interpreted as a religious holiday if you believe in giving thanks to a creator. But they hate Thanksgiving because they believe there is nothing you should be thankful for in America. This is an awful place. It is cancerous, rotten to the core. Tear it all down. Burn it from within.
This is the pretty standard fucking leftists hate and want to destroy your nation sort of thing. Not necessarily even wrong, though.
Why would you be thankful? Instead, we need a revolution.
I remember when I was looking into the critical librarianship stuff, they did not have very good infosec, and they present themselves as a one way, and you get into their little groups, and it's fucking incredible, the LARP. And yeah, there are groups of people infiltrating and looking to obliterate the US.
Remember,
who are deranged enough to be enraged by Thanksgiving, I'm sure.
As the Students for a Democratic Society radicals once wrote in the 1960s, they said, conflict is the origin of everything. What happens when you're thankful? By definition, you're less likely to be involved and engaged in conflict. Thanksgiving is supposed to de-escalate any sort of
That's why I only celebrate no Thanksgiving.
Existing.
It's a day of writing letters to people who've given you gifts about why what they provided you with wasn't good enough.
Issues in our country. And now they're using the virus as an excuse for you not to be thankful.
Oh.
We'll be right back.
That's pretty good. Leveraging coronavirus to limit Thanksgiving celebrations so you won't be thankful, so it will raise the temperature, I guess. Increase conflict. Okay, yeah, that is a bit that is a bit beyond the usual.
By the way, has been removed from the Department of Justice's website in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death and the subsequent crackdown on far-left violence that most likely had nothing to do with it. His death should serve as the strongest possible repudiation of his life's work and beliefs, a demonstration that the wages of hate are violence and death. He quite literally died under a banner which read, "Prove me wrong." How explicit does the universe need to be with its symbolism? It's critical that we make that clear, because good God.
If you had all the legislation you wanted, and Charlie was on the other side, and someone blew his neck out, would that have meaning to you? You're not merely being poetic here. You're being like fucking Ooga Booga tribal shaman. No. Meaningless. Meaningless.
Have Charlie's bedfellows exploited his death to advance that hateful, violent project? The myth of Charlie Kirk is this peaceful champion of the free expression of ideas, which is being actively written right now, is being used to stomp down on dissent, violate people's rights, and escalate tensions. More Charlie Kirks and more thought.
Yeah. You get something like the assassination of a figurehead on your side. You push for everything you can. Yes. Not really sure the libs were on board for that.
Slimes, for that matter, will die as a direct result of this. Okay, so with that preamble out of the way, I can move.
Regardless of any sort of sanitization of Kirk libs are responsible for, they certainly resisted what they could when it comes to the push for taking advantage of that happening. Certainly on a social consequences level, like punishing people for jokes when they had the opportunity, when it was a figure like what's his name? Do I mean Jimmy Kimmel?
On to the question I wanted to ask in this video.
Is that the guy?
Why are libs like this? You know, how come? Why are they tripping over their own dicks, not to simply condemn Kirk's assassination, but to proactively contribute to his post-mortem sanitization? Why are they so ready, nay, eager to comply with this narrative? What are they getting out of it? How come libs How come you're like this, libs? Like, why are you so servile, so willing to do whatever your enemies want you to do every single time? Like, why is it so easy to get them all to stand in single file and step up to the podium and say, Charlie Kirk was cool and good and my best friend and I wanted to suck his dick and I don't think he ever...
Because they're scared of you because you're freaks. Because they saw the reactions celebrating his death and the reasons to justify it. And it's fucking scary because you fucking circus freaks are gonna come for them. That easy. You made this happen.
Believed anything bad...
It's that easy. Okay, maybe not these people. Maybe not Ezra Klein. Maybe not Gavin Newsom. But the throngs who find this convincing and cling on to these pieces and these statements, I'd suggest are a bit fucking spooked by you.
Ever? Like, why are you so fucking useless all of the time, always? Now, please understand that when I say libs, I don't necessarily mean, like, liberals. Not exclusively, anyway. I mean it in the sense that, like, all hyper-online leftists like me use it, which is that, like, it's anyone who's being annoying. No, not really, but, like, look, I could be more specific than that, but I think you kind of get it, right? Like, liberalism is a specific ideological position with specific characteristics, but I'm not really talking about that. I'm not talking about, like, Hobbes and Keynes and shit. I'm not talking about liberals necessarily, though, you know, I am predominantly talking about liberals, of course. When I refer to libs, I'm talking about something broader.
Is there a dog whistle I'm missing? Is this like when I see people saying the Jews doesn't mean Jewish people? I feel like I'm missing something.
Something a bit more...
I feel like there's something going on here that I'm not picking up.
More difficult to define. We're talking about people who take for granted that the liberal democratic status quo is the natural order to which we will always inevitably return, and whose political imaginations are limited to, more or less, what exists right now with maybe some small changes here and there. Usually highly educated, otherwise intelligent people who have somehow completely lost touch with the modern political landscape.
So you mean moderates?
And the threats which face them. I have described this phenomenon in the past as the liberal mind prison. How liberalism itself...
This is you repackaging moderates. Okay.
Functions not just as a set of beliefs, but also as the boundaries of what beliefs a mind is allowed to hold. But this logic isn't limited to just ideological liberals, not really. You see this everywhere once you start looking for it, from what Mark Fisher called capitalist realism to Francis Fukuyama declaring the end of history. There's something about libs which makes them believe that we've arrived at some sort of invincible stability, that things will always be more or less like they are now. We can't even imagine a future that deviates too much from the structure of our current lives. I say we...
This is being presented as if it's like a sort of complacency. I think the average person has like a fear of rot and decay and collapse, and expects things to get worse. But living where I live, maybe my view is colored, and the corners of the internet I exist in.
Because I think libism, a term which is distinct from liberalism because I made it up and I therefore get to say what it means, is...
Surely libism would be an ideology focused around imbibement of alcohol.
Not so much a political ideology as a bad habit that anyone, myself included, of course, can fall into. A lib isn't a thing that you are. It's a thing that you're being sometimes.
Oh, man.
Sometimes leftists are being libs. Sometimes fascists are being libs. Sometimes your dad is a lib. Sometimes Spider-Man is a lib. Everyone is...
Okay, so it's not... Okay. Let's actually read this. A political tendency characterized by libbing out. Ah, okay. Never mind. Useless definition. So it doesn't really mean moderates. Okay. Sometimes fascists are libs.
And I therefore get to say what it means, is not so much a political ideology as a bad habit that anyone, myself included, of course, can fall into. A lib isn't a thing that you are. It's a thing that you're being sometimes. Sometimes leftists are being libs. Sometimes
So reactionaries is swiping. perhaps inadvertently reactionary. Perhaps even while not having reactionary beliefs or a reactionary perspective, pushing for reactionary outcomes, i.e. maintaining the status quo. Maybe.
Fascists are being libs. Sometimes your dad is a lib. Sometimes Spider-Man is a lib. Everyone is libs once in a while. Let's all work on not being libs all the time. A lib believes that politics doesn't really change all that much. Any belief system which strays too far from the status quo reads to them as purely hypothetical and abstract. It's why they dismiss leftists and leftist propositions out of pocket.
Again, sounds like you're talking about moderates. Okay.
For not being serious, because any systemic change on its face is unserious. You can't
Yeah, but also the person telling them about it looks like this.
make big changes. We've arrived at the final form of government, and all that's left is to make some minor patches along the way. We maintain the current order. We don't seek to create a new order, because that simply can't be done. Nothing can defeat the current order, and anything which does will inevitably collapse and return to the current order very shortly. This makes libs extremely, frustratingly unable to confront extremism of any kind. If you take it for granted.
Okay. So I would have presumed. I guess I should have expected this given the subject. This sounds like a frustration at people unwilling to be extreme or accept extremism. But I guess the direction he's going is they can't contemplate extremism as a threat because they view it as impossible. However, I think in general, the average person is more hysterical about extremism than they have been in a long time, so I don't know. I don't... Though Thought Slime isn't necessarily talking about lots of people being like this. It's how people are sometimes. So
big changes are just flat out impossible, then any argument about big changes is just a matter of opinion and won't have an effect on the world one way or another. It's a hypothetical, a discussion to be had in the abstract that will have no effect on the real world. Nobody can be hurt by that except like their feelings, I guess. So as long as everyone's being polite, as long as we're all being...
Charlie Kirk getting shot helped aided in the pursuit of that agenda more than the rest of his lifetime of speech would.
Nice and not emotional.
How about that?
Emotionally provocative. What does it matter if we just have a different...
Explains in 4 minutes why the big change is. People won't want popular because it's not predictable change.
Scary. Often scary things.
Difference of opinion, no matter what that opinion might be. I mean, come on, it's not like they can do anything about it, you know? It's all simply a discussion, an exchange of ideas. Charlie Kirk, like most right-wing media figures, was really good at manipulating this weakness. Not because he was like slick or particularly compelling, because it's just really easy to exploit. He would frame his arguments carefully to make his provocations to violence clear enough to his audience, but always to maintain plausible...
It's called a dog whistle.
Deniability, to limit himself to the abstract, distant proposals, things that he knew liberals would disagree with, but dismiss as impossible. Now make note, of course, he's hardly alone in that.
Here's the thing. There's stuff I want to say, but Thought Slime has narrowed down the person he has an issue with. To such a specific kind of individual that I'm not sure very many of them exist at all. Because Thought Slime's excluded the person who thinks that speech is an adequate response to speech. Thought Slime's only addressing people who don't view what's being pushed for as possible. Okay, yeah, who's that? Who fucking is that? my defense of ideas being argued, no matter how radical or nasty, is the adequate response to it is further speech. Rape them to death rhetorically. From my perspective, if someone's on a pedestal promoting something abhorrent that you can argue is abhorrent, that's like an opportunity for your side. That's get in there and punch them to death with your words.
Yes. We do this on the left all the time. Like, we know that when we call to end capitalism on a platform owned by a multi-trillion-dollar corporation, they let us get away with it because on some level, they don't really take it seriously. It does not read to them as a genuine threat because they don't really believe it's possible.
It doesn't read as a genuine threat because it's you! It doesn't not read as a genuine threat because they don't think it's possible from anyone. It's because it's you! Holy fuck.
But if I were to...
The way I described viewing my opponents is how you are viewed by the people who allow you to exist on the platform. You are an asset to them. Fuck! People don't understand this.
We should kill Dr. Steve YouTube, the chief engagement officer of YouTube. I would go to jail for that. Rightfully so, right? Because I tried to murder a guy. For the record, Dr. Steve YouTube is a fine man.
There are extremists who are viewed as a threat who do get nuked. The idea that it comes from a mindset of people it comes from people incapable of viewing extreme outcomes as a possibility is nonsense, because extreme people do get fucking wiped away and nuked.
A brave man. And just because almost every single choice made by the leadership of this website is terrible, doesn't mean that I cannot be friends with Dr. Steve YouTube, MD. Kirk understood he couldn't call for violence directly. That would break the rules. That would be a clear violation. That's immediate. And even libs know things like that are real threats. He'd just smile and calmly lay out the moral justification for violence to be done, granting his audience moral permission to engage in violence without ever being on the hook for it himself. He wouldn't say something as crass as...
Stochastic terrorism is the accusation here.
Go stone gay people, everybody. That would be incitement. No, he'd simply say that we should live in accordance with the teachings of the Bible. And the Bible says we should do that if you consciously ignore the much more numerous and direct parts of the Bible which say explicitly not to do that. He'd leave his audience...
Are we using the quote from earlier? Because the one from earlier was him doing a gotcha on some chick.
To connect the dots, but was savvy enough never to connect them himself, making all of his violent rhetoric implication and subtext. And to libs, again, not liberals necessarily.
Can I see some? Like I said before, I'm genuinely not very familiar with Charlie Kirk at all. The clips Thought Slime has shared are the ones that were being circulated everywhere. So those are pretty much the only clips I've ever seen of him. And those have been manipulated here and used out of context.
But libs, there's a big, important distinction between saying we should stone gay people, bad, violent, dangerous, and it's my personal religious conviction that we should amend the law to make the punishment for being gay a stoning. Merely insulting, suggestive, buffoonish. Now, sure, they wouldn't like that he said the latter. They might find it disgusting, but it's not dangerous. It could become dangerous if a critical mass of people came to believe it, but that's too big a change to expect to happen anytime soon. It's outside the scope.
I know, with rates of immigration,
of what they imagine is possible, so why worry about it? In their minds, the damage done by this kind of rhetoric is...
Does Thought Slime tolerate the proliferation of the Bible and people's statements to believe in it? People's claims to believe in it? I feel like there are logical consequences of this argument that are very extreme. You could argue that here it's being laid out that we need an end to Christianity. He can't say that because people would say that's crazy. That's extreme. But he's laid out the argument for it. He's given us the points to connect. Look at the danger of having this book that people say they believe in. The claims in it could lead a mass to want to change the law such that gay people are executed. Right?
Exclusively emotional. It's hurtful. It's dehumanizing. It makes people feel bad. And so they condemn it with the strongest
Yeah, maybe Siffy.
possible wag of the finger. But
And people wouldn't be bothered by that much, Siffy, because they can't see extreme change as possible.
it's not in and of itself like violent, right? Any violence being discussed here is just hypothetical. We don't need to concern ourselves with it as anything other than a thought experiment. It's not a threat in the real world.
Most things you can ever advocate realistically are going to be mutually exclusive with other things, such that making sure your outcome happens will involve at least the implicit threat of violence. There's like
world.
You gotta be more.
It's just a bad take. We can discuss this rationally because as long as it all stays within the realm of opinion, nobody gets hurt. To them, being confrontational to such an idea is just as bad as holding that idea. Because remember, the only thing they really see wrong with it is that it might hurt people's feelings. So if you hurt Charlie's feelings by telling him he's a piece of shit with bad ideas,
he's dead, you can't hurt his feelings.
You've done the exact same thing to him that he's doing to queer people. The only way to defeat him and the things he stands for,
Careful. Careful.
Therefore, is by being welcoming and accepting, even when you know he's going to use that acceptance to advocate for terrible things. It's simply the civil way to behave. And if we just do that, all of the problems just work themselves out somehow. This is why Ezra Klein will say dumb shit like Kirk practiced politics the right way.
I think part of it actually is that he's fucking dead. I made the point that, you know, people went out of their way to disassociate themselves from the nuts who were justifying it. But he was a powerful figure in terms of influence against relatively young people, you know, college Republicans and whatnot. He's fucking dead now. Libs sanitizing him can be seen as a destruction of his message, a corruption of him. Like how people get mad when MLK is reduced to just, oh, don't be mean to people just because they're a different color. You can damage someone's message by doing that as well.
Contents of his opinions, the actual things he advocated for, are irrelevant to the way that he practiced
You can dilute it.
politics. All that
And in a sense, they're encouraging people on their side to be effective in the way that Charlie Kirk was effective.
matters is that in advocating for those things, he gave the appearance of politely discussing abstractions, talking about, but never acting on, his bigoted and demented worldview. To the lib, politics is not about the expression of power. It's about the expression of self. It's an in-group to belong to. It's a
Hold up.
fandom, a way to validate your feelings and beliefs, to signal to others that you have the good ideas, the ideas
Hold
that
up.
people like. Whether those ideas actually amount to change is decided by how far from the eternal, natural status quo a lib believes them to be. The march of progress inevitably brings us closer and closer to the perfect world that we're all working together to build. And
Little bit based.
so bad ideas simply require gentle correction, not direct confrontation. Think of the term marketplace of ideas, right? Like they present this as a market stall where people can pick good or bad ideas. And of course, people are rational actors.
Does anyone still do that? I thought Ruben wore through that entirely. Just used it up. No one said we need the Thunderdome of ideas.
According to market logic, who would naturally gravitate to the good ideas. The good ideas just outcompete the bad ideas. You don't really need to do anything other than present a better idea to defeat a bad idea, because it's just going to be innately more popular.
No. The people who think that are fucking, like, retarded. Yes. And there are people who think like that. It is your responsibility. If you believe the ideas you have are right, to work on your ability to fucking crush your opponents. To just fucking obliterate them, convince people, shame and embarrass your enemies into being rejected. Sure.
But if you're not terminally capitalism brained, there's a
like that's I feel like that's an angle that's not gonna be discussed. There's like the have the free marketplace of ideas, or there's like deplatform fascists. I think that's what we're getting.
That is going to leap out at you in this analogy. Good ideas can't always afford think tanks and public relations people. They're not always funded by petrochemical billionaires. Good ideas might win in a fair fight, but why the fuck would people fight fair when their money is on the line? It also presents ideas, politics, ideology as simply a product to consume, a marker of identity and vehicle for self-expression, rather than the means by which change is made. It's all just a great big exercise in open-mindedness with no tangible effect.
Yeah, so what... In the analogy... So obviously the idea that if you're disseminating an idea and you're trying to get people to align, having more resources helps you do that. Sure. In the analogy, what is a fair fight? Siffy, I don't even know what... In this analogy, what is the fair fight?
Whatsoever. And this is why they fixate so much on crassness, on the coarsening of the discourse, because it's really the only thing.
Like, ideas don't win based on being good or bad. It's like it's down to whether people like them or not.
They can,
unfortunately,
criticize. That erodes trust in the discussion that they...
I guess that is implied, Siffy.
think will inevitably and always prove them correct. There's a set of rules that if were obeyed, they would always win. And the problem is that people simply aren't obeying the rules. We must force them to obey the rules by being nicer and more polite. If you can say horrible things politely, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what they want. Because like if you say the bad ideas, they can then outcompete them with their better good ideas. It's brand management.
No, but also like attack their character and destroy them and humiliate them, shame them. Tear them to pieces any way you can. It's better to have them there to be able to do that to them.
They're rude, it lets you do negative PR on their ideas. And when you're rude, it grants them the same opportunity. So you're not just someone that believes something. You don't just express your thoughts willy-nilly. You must always carefully consider the optics. Because you're a brand ambassador for whatever thing you believe. You're trying to sell it. You're trying to be appealing. We don't want to lose normal people.
Yeah, but actually though, yes.
We have to consider the demographics. You're not included in the...
But you have to do that correctly.
Demographics.
Someone can be wrong about the optics game without that meaning there is no optics game. Okay, come on.
Would never occur to them that this back and forth could have the effect of making bad ideas more popular. Because in the mind of the lib, bad ideas simply don't get more popular. Anyone who holds a bad idea simply has not been exposed to the good alternative yet.
Here's some sick shit as well. If the idea is really bad, you want a certain number of people to believe it and try to push it in order to scare people with, to force them into your shit. That's another thing.
And once they are, they'll always choose it. Someone has failed to explain this sufficiently to the dum-dums. Once the dum-dums hear it laid out for them...
That should be your... Wait a second, Thor Slime. Hang on. Presumably, one of your win conditions would be have people fucking scared enough of the fash and have your dudes be the only people offering the solution, right?
As simply as possible, then they're all going to jump to our
Wait, what even is Thought Slime's position on this?
better ideas. And this also means that if an idea does get more popular, it therefore must have some merit. I mean, if you're taking this free market logic for granted, if you assume that it's baked into how people behave, the only reason a bunch of rational actors would choose an idea would be if there's something to it that we're not seeing.
Who the fuck? Who are we talking about at this point? Who believes that? You're, like, there's definitely innate biases. There are people who go with the crowd. Who holds that belief consciously?
Obligated to hear them out endlessly until we either convince them they're wrong or they convince us we're wrong. All ideas are therefore worth hearing out forever, because the bad ones just go away naturally once exposed. No matter how many times the strategy backfires, they'll never, ever lose faith in it.
Do we live in the same world? Was this video scheduled like 10 years ago? Presumably, this is Thought Slime, you know, being in favor of deplatforming. Have you not noticed what happens when you try to do that and fail? Trying to do that and failing backfires way fucking harder than trying to engage with the other side as an interlocutor and not doing great.
Because it affirms their innate sense of superiority, that their ideas and their worldview is so self-evidently better than others, nobody could be exposed to it without being converted. Because all libs really want out of all of this...
But that's an obvious big one, Aubrey, yeah. Especially when the more extreme and radical right and the moderate right, one of the barriers to them doing stuff is like their own inhibition. From my perspective, Thought Slime's enemies are strongly fueled by anger. Strongly fueled by anger. And vengeance is a great source of that.
Is to feel good about having already made the right choices, about believing the right things. Only small changes are possible, and so the stakes are therefore perpetually small, perpetually unworrying. The system will protect them, and the system cannot be broken. In a weird way, I think Charlie Kirk also kind of gives them that sense of superiority, because he's their heel. He's the mouthpiece for the bad ideas that they don't like. He's always there to say the wrong thing.
Like, you can totally force the right to be cucked by using civility politics against them.
To endorse the wrong policies and argue in their defense, but never to actually complicate that simple relationship by doing anything himself. The plausible deniability he maintained also allows a lib to delude themselves into thinking that he could not be dangerous to them, because he didn't break their rules, he didn't violate their norms, and so any danger he posed was abstract, imagined, easily countered simply by presenting your superior ideas. How brave of him to be willing to subject himself to that over and over. We should applaud him for having the courage to put himself in this position. Sure did it a lot. And that's great. That's great for us, because we want him to do that, because it's bad for his side, bad for his project, which, come to think of it, makes it kind of weird that he did it so much. Like, it's weird that he'd be so into it if it's bad for him.
If his strategy's really good, the legacy you want to be left behind is that he was good for that strategy. Because then your side will pick it up and do it more. Right? One of the examples of articles Thought Slime included was someone saying, like, here's what we can fucking learn from him to reach men, or something like that. How can you be saying this? How can you be saying this and disagree? Yeah, it is effective, fucking isn't it? Maybe you should do it.
him. It's almost like he got something out of this process. It's almost like it helped him in some way.
And I feel like you really need to when the guy doing it for your side is fucking Destiny. So it's more important than ever.
It's almost like this wasn't an exercise in the free exchange of ideas, but an opportunity for a fringe extremist to make his bigoted positions more mainstream, one which credulous libs happily played along with, one which they're all too ready to
If he is what you say he is and you can't beat him, you deserve to be beaten. Simple as.
Continue playing along with in the wake of his murder, because they find the idea of normalizing him and the toxic fascist project he represents more acceptable than having to endure being called an asshole on Twitter.
If you don't have an orator who can beat him, you're just worse. If he is everything you're saying he is, to the degree you're saying he is, if you can't beat that, you're real fucked up. You are like the circus freak.
Hey, thank you for watching this video that I thought would just be a quick one I could do on a current event, and then it wasn't a current event anymore, and now it's just...
The connect the dots, Siffy. The deplatforming, presumably. Ironically, Thought Slime is doing exactly what he complained about Kirk. The only thing you can think of is that we need to dictatorially put Thought Slime into power. Because of course Thought Slime knows what the good ideas are. True. True. You know what? You're right. I've been atted. Who's atting me? I am not going to Japan for leisure. I'm going there to hunt Ian Danskin. No! I've been sick recently. I've been all fucked up recently. The idea of empathy is damaging because it suggests that I am not going to kill Ian Danskin. Please. Yeah, 22 minutes to regurgitate the classic woman wearing a Free Palestine shirt at a university explaining why deplatforming is necessary. Really, you're just giving oxygen to the smoldering embers of fascism. Ultimately, no matter what, it benefits them to allow them to speak. Fucking shit. Fucking garbage. Zero insight. None. None at all. What's the best thing I can say about this? Why can't your side do that? Why is it that any oxygen is good for them? But when you have a more radical leftoid, like someone from r/anti-work getting a spotlight on them, they get totally fucking raped into dust. Think about that. Think about that. I don't actually think Destiny counts as Thought Slime's side. I said that. But I don't... not quite. Not quite. Yeah, Epstein Island, I presume. Let's pop up something else. Let's pop up something maybe more fun. Okay, my Mega Bonk run hasn't died yet. I haven't accidentally started it playing again. Let's pop it open. I have a link in my link document called Dark Soul Gooning. What am I doing in Japan? Do you want to know what I'm doing in Japan? I can tell you real quick. Spending my most half of the days we're just going to be like fucking around in Tokyo. For the first week, we're going to be based in Asakusa. For the second week, we're going to be based in Shinjuku. And every other day, we're going to go on a trip. Like, we're going to Tsukuba. We're going to stay overnight in Hakone in an expensive ryokan. We're going to go to Mount Takao. We're going to go to Kawagoe. We're going to go to Kamakura. And we have some other trips we might slip in. Maybe we'll end up going to Yokohama, to the ramen museum. Who knows? All sorts of stuff could happen. We were going to do some like further trips and like stay at more places. But because I got really sick last month and I'm still not totally better, like we scaled it back a lot. We scaled it back a lot just to make sure it'll be okay. Also, so that we don't like accidentally fucking overdo it in Japan. I feel like it would be very, very easy to overdo it and totally fuck ourselves up and get lost and have it go real weird. The trains are so fucking weird, dude. The thing where you get a regular ticket, and then to book first class, you need a first class ticket. The regular fare is for the trip, and then the first class ticket is separate and is just to do with which part of the train you're in. It's so fucking weird, dude. Very strange. And then they have the, like, Shinkansen minigame, where if you're on the regular network, and then you got to go on the Shinkansen. So when you get to the transfer gate, you slip the ticket in, and it goes flying to the end. And then there's a little window on it that lights up blue, and you have to quickly put your IC card on it. And if you get the timing wrong, it doesn't let you through, and you have to try it again. It's scary, man. It's fucked up. Actual QuickTime event, yes. Deranged.
Have you ever wanted to specifically not do something, but then you end up doing that one specific thing anyway?
Yeah, sneezes. Sneezes in particular.
I used to think like I just have no discipline, no self-respect, because I always end up...
No self-respect, and you've got a Call of Duty poster on your wall. Yeah?
Doing the same thing that I specifically didn't want to do. But the game Dark Souls made me realize that it's actually not about discipline or self-respect.
Okay.
If you don't have a soon, you're going to goon. The problem with guys these days is they have so much goon going on because they have no soon. Most people have an eternal noon because they have no soon.
Whoever said this was a Dr. Seuss video, holy fuck. Do you chew Blue Goon?
Does this make sense?
No.
So you goon until noon because there was no soon to just get it over with already. It's done. Carry on with your day. Having a soon is a powerful way to live. You need to have plans. You need to be doing something soon.
I see.
You need something to be excited about.
You need to not have time to jerk off.
If you don't know, gooning is like edging, like intense and prolonged self-pleasure. It's increasing stimulation to the verge of orgasm without climaxing to achieve an obsessive state of prolonged arousal.
Do people actually do this? That's what like gooning is in the fetish sense, but now, when people say goon nowadays, they just mean jerking off. Right? In popular culture, in pop culture, gooning is just fucking replacing fapping.
Arousal and pleasure. It's something people do when they watch their adult videos, you know? Gooners spend hours indulging in this practice, sometimes in a dedicated goon cave setup designed for maximum immersion and overstimulation. A lot of us are gooning, but not just in a sexual sense. Gooning is more than just watching adult videos. It also goes into mental masturbation.
Look. This was platonic gooning. I don't want you to get the wrong idea.
You can goon to information. You can goon about what game you're gonna play. You just look at your little Steam library.
Anticipation,
You see all
I
these
guess.
games like, what am I gonna play? And then you just go on YouTube and watch something mindlessly and do
Me at the restaurant taking too long to choose. Oh god, I'm fooning. I'm food gooning. Help.
basically nothing. Or you know, you goon thinking about what am I gonna eat tonight? I wanna lose weight.
I fucking picked that as an absurd example, and it's one of his examples.
I want to gain muscle. What do I eat? You don't know how to cook, so you never cook anything. You just goon. You're mentally masturbating. You're edging without getting
Instead of merely making the meal, you cut the ingredients smaller and smaller.
that final result.
You're ginsooning.
And it's a real thing these days, you know? We live in the age of the goon. But you really need to just not give yourself all of these options and just choose one thing. That way you're not gooning.
Alright, I choose gooning.
And you're making your soon come sooner. Your dinner will be ready sooner because you stop gooning thinking about what to eat for dinner. And
Yeah, but I was thinking about it on the train on the way home, so...
just decided to have, like, I don't know, chicken and rice. Easy. When you're
I have chicken and rice twice a day.
exploring areas in Dark Souls, the hope is to find the next boss. Find the good items. So you bear through the sometimes crappy areas like the swamp areas. You're okay being in there because you know you have a soon. You have something to look forward to. And that's how you stop gooning in life, because when you have something that you really, really want to do a lot, like fight the next cool boss or make progress in your goals in real life, then you're not just gonna stay in the stupid area before the boss, hanging out and loitering
Okay.
and doing nothing. The same way that you're not gonna sit around and goon in your room and watch random
poison
videos when
goon
you
swamp.
actually have shit that you want to do. Having a soon and getting rid of so many different options so that you don't get stuck by decision paralysis pretty much automatically makes the goon go away.
Option paralysis. Although I get what you're saying.
This is how you magically stop gooning all the time and
Magically stop gooning. I'm gonna do a little experiment, by the way. Give me a mere moment. There's shit you can do. Hang on. No, I don't know how any of this shit works. Forget it. Forget it. Forget it. I'm out of my damn mind. Hang on. There's a thing you can do where you redirect a stream. How do you do those? Edit. Customization. You do edit, details, customization. How does this work? You can keep people on your channel or send them to any channel that gives you redirect privileges. Oh shit. Hang on. You ready for this? Oh, fuck. We're going to do true shilling at the end of the stream. We're not at the end of the stream yet, but I just learned. Oh, man. What the fuck? This is fucking shit. Son of a bitch. I was going to set the stream up to send you guys to Super Yummy Munchie Cat at the end, but like I can't do it. Oh, I can only send you. Oh, you can't send them to videos, you can send them to you can only send them to live streams or something. Whatever. It's fine.
actually become productive. And maybe it sounds hard to do right now. Like, yeah, like, this sounds nice and all, but it's kind of hard to be productive. Like, yeah, okay.
It made it sound like you could send it into a regular video, but no, you can't.
Oh, being productive is the solution to gooning? Oh, yeah, I should just be productive then. Oh, yeah, but I'll do it later, though, because I don't really feel like being productive. You say, like, I'll just try to stop gooning on my own. But you won't.
Oh
if
no.
all you think about
You have to... You need a circle not jerk. A circle unjerk.
is don't do this thing, you're gonna do the thing because it's all that you're thinking about. If all of your effort is just thinking about don't do the thing, you definitely are gonna do it. If I say don't think of a pink elephant, instantly it comes to your mind, a pink elephant. But if you can replace it with something else, something more important to you that you actually want to do, that's fun to you, that makes you want to get out of bed faster to do it, that makes you not even want to eat or sleep or drink water because it's literally consuming your whole brain, then magically, all of a sudden, you don't want to goon anymore. You don't even have time to think about it because now your mind is occupied with something you love, like building computers or working on your YouTube channel or working out or making good food or making your own business that could make you rich. If you had something so cool and
Get rich quick schemes, famously not a cause of rumination and daydreaming.
awesome waiting for you. Like for example, the boss fight in the swamp area in Dark Souls 3. The swamp area in
Instead of masturbating, why don't you just kill your boss?
Souls games are always memed because like everyone hates them and they're so annoying and you just want to get out. But in that swamp area is the boss fight for the Abyss Watchers, which is like a really fucking cool boss fight. So even though you don't really like the area, you still go around and explore it because you need to in order to open the gate to their boss fight. You actually are working towards something.
I see.
And so you don't linger around, you just get what you need and move forward. And beating this boss fight is one of the actual important bosses in the game because you need their Lord Cinders to beat the game.
So just nut. Do a one pump nut and then go on with your day. Start doing something valuable.
Which is an even bigger soon. You don't loiter and make yourself stay in the bad area of the game like the swamp.
To be clear, am I understanding this correct? This is purely to beat gooning, as in edging and prolonged masturbation. You have something you need to do soon, something you need to pursue. So it's not don't masturbate, it's just like masturbate real fast. It's am I understanding? This is how to like. This is like a video on. This is a guide on how to get a premature ejaculation issue.
Or your goon cave, because you have something more important that is happening soon that you gotta get to, because it's so much more exciting than what's happening in this fucking swamp. So like, I'm not telling you to be
the flicker goon meta in Path of Exile 2 is crazy.
Be productive and have no more fun in your life. I'm telling you to find something that you actually want to do, that is actually fun to you, that deep inside of your heart, you actually really enjoy, right? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to find this thing for yourself.
Gotcha.
So that you can replace gooning with that. I'm not telling you specifically what to do with your time. You can do whatever you like. But replace the bad habits, like gooning, with things that actually make you happy. And
gooning
are, like,
spelled
conducive
gunning.
to your goals. I'm not telling you to be productive in the sense of like, get a job, invest in the stock market, work hard, make sure to set up your pension plan.
By productive, I mean make sure you produce semen rapidly.
I'm saying that it is productive to do something that you love doing. And so replace gooning, the bad habits, with something.
Gooners famously hate prolonged masturbation. It's not something they love doing.
That you love. That's what I'm saying. If you don't have a soon, then you're going to goon. Stop worrying about doing what's right and avoiding anything bad. The current state of self-improvement, I feel like, is saying like, if you have even a little bit of microplastics or whatever, seed oils, or like if you touch your little wee-wee too much, then basically you're screwed. And good luck getting your streak back, because I'm actually perfect and I never make any mistakes.
True.
Oh, but you failed. Oh, sucks to be you, I guess. I think we gotta stop letting these little setbacks make us think that we are
Yeah, but the real danger, new Super Yummy Munchie Cat soon? YouTube censor, it fucking came out a few hours ago. There's the link. He's gonna start fucking meta-gooning though. If you have a soon, you goon over the possibility of gooning later.
Complete failures. Men are supposed to be strong and able to do things like eat barbecue chips without having a big drama and ruining their day because they're
Pre-gooned.
unhealthy. When you let it completely become your master,
Pardon me.
then that's when it turns into a sickness. When you think that, okay, I don't actually want to finish my ejaculation, so I'll just ruin it inside. As if that isn't worse than just doing it and getting it over with.
I have a problem where I just bottle everything up. I'm scared to express myself.
Stop putting these chains of self-improvement on yourself and just live. Living to your natural rhythm, even if you bust a nut here and there, makes you the most lively version of yourself. Stop gooning and just have a soon, and just don't let small setbacks make you feel like you're worthless. You're better than your mistakes or whatever. Just keep going toward your soons and your goals. We're like indoctrinated right now, and we believe that if we ejaculate, then we lose power or something. So instead of actually doing it, I'll just sit here for like 4 hours and not do it, but like almost do it though. That's fucking way worse than just doing it.
Gooning for power? Is that a thing?
It. You're wasting your time, and you're getting even worse effects from whatever you're watching because you're looking at it for so much longer than if you just did it for like 5 minutes. You're damaging your mental health more, which is why people say don't watch it in the first place. My advice is that hopefully in the first place you don't even get the idea to goon, because you have so much awesome soons in your life.
Abstinence only goonication.
But you will get the urge, and when you do get the urge, either you gotta push harder toward your soons and have more fun and do more stuff and kind of distract yourself, or you just gotta do it. You just gotta get it over with. Just do it, and then don't stay lingering thinking you messed up so bad. Just move.
Don't sniff your jizz. Just get rid of it.
Move on and get back to pursuing your goals, your soons. Don't let it control your life more than it needs to. The day doesn't need to be ruined. Just realign and get back to your soon.
My day's ruined. Although, to be fair. Okay. Wait a second. There is a... Okay. Where is it? I don't even know what to search for to get it. But there was a like mini docu or something about a guy who has involuntary orgasms, and he was crying because he nutted at his dad's funeral. That's pretty bad. I don't know what to search for though.
It's okay if it happened, whatever. Just like, what are you gonna do about it now anyway? Just work on your goals or do something interesting or fun. Even meeting up with your friends or like planning specific dates for specific things, you know, just make plans, make more soons in your life. If you don't have a soon, you're going to goon. That's all I have to say for today, guys.
Thanks.
I hope you're doing good. If you like Dark Souls and self-improvement.
Explained with Dark Souls. Why your brain can't focus. Artorias and masculinity. Why does music make you feel sick? What the fuck are you It doesn't. What do you mean? Why are you angry? He used to be black? What kind of business should I start? Okay.
Music is the muse that makes you sick.
The clip I wanted. The video. Music is the muse that I will choose. The strings, the sounds, I will abuse.
Oh, God.
Father of two, Dale Decker, suffers from a rare and seemingly incurable condition that leads to him suffering up to 100 unwanted orgasms a day.
There's nothing pleasurable about it because even though it might physically feel good, the whole time inside your mind...
There's nothing pleasurable, even though it feels good. Okay.
You're completely disgusted by what's going on. And depending on where you're at, if you're in public, if you're in front of kids, if you're around
Oh,
strangers,
no. Just a bunch of dust coming out.
It can make a person break real fast.
The 37-year-old is
Hashtag
the first man
mind
to
break.
ever speak publicly about the condition known as Persistent Sexual Arousal Syndrome, or PSAS, and he says it's ruining
Pieces.
his life.
When you're on your knees at your father's funeral,
There
at
we
his
go.
casket, and you're saying goodbye to him, and then you have 9 orgasms right there, while your whole family is standing behind you. It just makes you never want to have another orgasm as long as you live. But you know
9 though.
what? You just keep on coming.
Keep on coming. Oh, brother.
Dale, from Wisconsin in America.
Everyone loves music. People defend music like it's sacred, and like I like it too, but we're overdoing
I mean, some people don't. Some people think it's haram, unless it's a koali.
it a little bit. We don't need it to the extent that we have it available to us. People got Spotify playlists on repeat, 3-minute dopamine hits over and over. It's just an escape now. It's how people avoid taking an honest look at themselves.
What?
Instead of asking the real questions to yourself like, why am I so unhappy with my life? You just hit play on the next song and drown it out.
What the fuck?
Noise on top of noise until you never feel the weight of your own thoughts. It's actually an addiction, and Dark Souls shows us how it works.
This is pretty good. Why am I so miserable? Because my ribcage fucking hurts and my sleep's all fucked up and I wake up screaming at night in pain. There we go, solved.
Dark Souls, going hollow means losing your humanity, your identity, your purpose.
I'm surprised in the Gooning video he didn't talk about going hollow. After you nut, you go hollow. There's nothing inside.
That's what music does when
You can still rekindle.
lean on it too much. You slowly hollow out. You let it decide your mood, your focus, even your confidence. If you never actually address yourself, because you're listening to the mood of the song instead of yourself, then your actual problems get amplified and yet drowned out at the same time. The music speaks to you, right? And it gives you comfort because it's relatable, but it doesn't let you actually grow and fix the problem. It keeps you in that frame of mind, like ruminating in the sadness or the anger or whatever.
Mom wouldn't let me have another cookie, so I listened to Stripped, Raped, and Strangled by Cannibal Corpse on repeat.
I know because I tried the opposite. I heard it in a video like a couple of years ago, and so I just tried to not listen to music for a few days. And it made my life better. And now I don't listen to music when I'm working out or on the train or anywhere when I'm outside the house. I know for sure there is a difference in how you feel because now I bought a new pair of earbuds.
This video is sponsored by Ray-Bans. You listen to music on the train because of the people jabbering and like eating crunchy things and fucking on video calls and stuff. Addressing that problem without music means fucking train genocide.
And I've been listening to music again when I'm out and I'm working out. And it feels like, and it's like making me nauseous to listen to so much music over and over, song after song. I bought those new earbuds like a couple months ago, and now I've lost them somewhere, and now I've been forced to not listen to music everywhere I go, like I have been doing lately, and I'm actually grateful for this. I don't even want...
Raycon, yeah, not Ray-Ban. Ray-Bans are sunglasses, right?
To find them. Life is better without the constant stimulation. It's for real like a drug, and nobody even acknowledges it or talks about it. Music has a crazy effect on mood for real, and once you stop listening...
Everyone talks about it. That's why people have to go to clubs and stuff. The value of music is typically talked about in terms of its emotional impact. What do you normally hear people talking about in music? Regarding music?
It's like you can hear your own thoughts, actually. It's crazy. You can hear the world. You're present. Sadness isn't so sad. Anger isn't so angry. Music feeds emotions and amplifies them. Every depressed person I know loves music to death. They defend it and they spend all their time listening to it.
They defend it. How dare
it's a
they?
way that you can ruminate. When you listen to music, your emotions are enlarged, and especially for those people feeling depressed or sad, there are...
You could certainly use particular tracks, especially if the lyrics are relevant, to feed into rumination. But he's presenting this as a bit more of a generalized issue.
Already caught in a loop of sadness. They don't think of anything other than sad thoughts. They put in their AirPods and they listen to more sad stuff. It makes them more sad. They don't even give themselves the chance to not be sad and address those root problems. Music causes rumination and an intensification of those emotions. And when you finally do hear a nice song after a while of not hearing any music, it's actually like really nice. But we were not meant to listen to this much music over and over again. It's actually a drug and nobody even acknowledges it or notices it. In the filth, it shall be found. You gotta stop drowning in music and listen to your own thoughts, your real thoughts, so you can see why you're unhappy or sad or whatever it is, so that you can actually fix it. Growth happens when you stop running from that discomfort and just sit in it for a second.
We're not watching another 3 minutes of this. What do we have here? Plunger. How Stoics handle disrespect. Followed up by Who is Naruto without Sasuke? The importance of Spider-Man 2. Okay. How to be like your favorite character. What's more important for a man? Sure. Fear of puking. Is that a metaphobia, perhaps? A metaphobia? I would bet. Hello, more wise. Improve my productivity by 500%. No, I'd get too much done. I'd have nothing left to do. I'll peep this.
Alright. I don't want to waste your time. What is the most important thing that a man can do in his life?
Is that Red Dead font?
Is it looks maxing? Making sure that he is as close to his attractive potential as possible?
Posters, man.
Is it having more money than everyone around you? Is it having women in your life? A selection of girls that you can pick and choose from as you please? Is it gooning? Here's what I think. All of these things, looks maxing, girls,
they're equally
money,
important.
Status, gooning, they are all as important or as unimportant as you make them to be.
Deep.
They are all important parts of a man's development. And
Gooning?
they even intertwine with each other.
Specifically gooning, edging.
But every man is not made the same. There is no one true answer that every man can follow and be their best selves because of, even if it's good general advice. What is absolutely best for one person might not be the best for someone else. It's just the truth. I can see that now. A little while ago, I made a video called The Problem with Looks Maxing, and I think I made some good points in that video. But in the comment section,
nice
you can
self-review.
see that people are conflicted. Some people agreed with what I said, that sometimes looks maxing can get a little bit vain. Sometimes.
Well, obviously.
Other people kind of agreed with me, but said that a better path would be to combine looks maxing with self-improvement.
Okay. I'm out. Let's check out some AI. AI and the internet's creative insincerity. This was another recommended video. All the videos are recommended videos. Even when I find it myself, I claim they're recommended. So if it sucks shit, you blame each other instead of me. Secret Chinese technique.
Chances are that some of your favorite media is a little bit less than a pure labor of love. Every piece of media has this to some extent. Even if I've imprinted on Pro Skater like a lost calf, I have to admit that while a lot of the team were probably passionate about the project, Activision would have seen it differently. What was made
Yeah.
Under the hood was secondary to the cash that the product would have made. And in that, I think it's fair to say that a part of games that I really like,
yeah, from Activision's perspective, certainly, sure,
are creatively insincere. What would elevate these games, however, is if I knew that these games were made from a point of pure creative passion.
New? How about if you believed? What if it wasn't, but you thought it was? What if it wasn't, but you thought it was?
Either the people working on the game just really liked the process of making a game, and this was the end product. Maybe the people working on it didn't love making games, but really wanted to play this specific type of game. They didn't like the project itself, but wanted to see someone else's vision to life. Maybe none of them liked the project, but knew that someone else would and were doing it for them. These are all different.
That's some fucking weird
perspectives on creative sincerity. It's not that every piece of art has to be made from someone who just...
An entire team coming together to make a game none of them like the idea of, but think other people will. And not because it will be a commercial success, but because they want to pleasure whoever this hypothetical individual is. Where did you come up with this in the shower, or...?
At their core, loves putting brush to a canvas and seeing a color left behind. Worrying about this is something for me that comes in waves. However, lately I can't help but see a rapid change in both the platforms that display content and the ways that it can be made that has heightened my concern around the subject. Suppose there's two identical videos, and they're videos that you think are entirely trite. For me, I'm going to use a fictional Five Nights at Freddy's top 5 facts video, not to throw shade at FNAF fans. Being 28 and still hopelessly drawn to Tony's wheels, I'm just one of you several years removed. One video is made by a guy who just really loves Five Nights at Freddy's.
Here we
These
go.
are facts that basically everyone's heard.
Is he going to come to the conclusion that the motivation does matter?
And they only want to make this video
because if he comes to that conclusion, he's fucking wrong
in this style because they're influenced by what's around them to the point of redundancy, but they still want to share regardless. They don't love numbered lists, but they're doing one because they haven't thought about how else it might be presented. Straw man in place, I think it's fair to say that this might be creatively bankrupt. However, I wouldn't call it insincere. A genuine desire is found in that want to share. Maybe nobody wants to receive, but there's a goodness at its core that I think is impossible to...
A goodness at its core?
Fault. And if I'm stirring the pot...
That is impossible to fault. Nah. If you're gonna, like, elementalize it, I guess. If you're gonna turn it into purely... doing something because you want to do it... You can fault that because that's just selfishness. If you reduce it that far, you're actually just praising selfishness and impulsiveness.
Not a little. I think that's where a lot of videos on the internet regarding fighting games land, and I don't mean that as an insulting.
If you include more of what they made, then you can fault it for being low quality or whatever, or derivative.
Way, I mean that in an endearing way. The second, despite being the same video in every practical sense, is made because algorithmically it might do well. The person hasn't made the video for wanting to share something, they've done it because they're following a trend, or other successful people in the specific search for success, or doing it because that's what's worked in the past in spite of the fact that they have no creative passion for it. There might be some financial incentive somewhere down the line, but for the sake of consistency, let's say that there's not. Even if there's nothing physical to gain, there's some kind of exterior pressure, viewership or sub count for example, in which the end goal can be some kind of return on investment. This is creatively insincere. It wasn't created for the value that
Stop. Okay. He's almost describing like a process artist.
has to the creator or the viewer, it was created to bolster something unrelated to the two. Under the circumstance that both users have the same tools, they might end up...
But where does the value... Or is there a value judgment there at all?
...making the same thing in the same time.
I don't think he's quite made a value judgment on it yet.
However, it might be the case that the user who cares more takes longer as they and are about the way things that have been spoken, like the fact that my voice is absolutely shot and so I shouldn't be making this. I went to Evo France, it was very good. Mais oui! Or thinking how to bring elements onto the screen. As the user is more invested in the concept as creative work, they take more time and care with that work.
Bullshit. The person merely trying to get a viral banger or whatever has equal but different incentive to focus and take time to get what will work right. This is weird.
It's also more likely that if both videos do poorly, the user who has invested more in their creative work is more disappointed by the outcome. Not because the goal
could go either way. I think it could go either way. Yeah, it can be a blow. My thing that I'm passionate about failed. Can feel like a more personal blow. But you still made the thing that's going to have meaning to you. The other person, if they're trying to produce something that's going to be a hit and it flops, they've made this thing they don't care about and gotten nothing for it. They've literally just purely wasted their time. So it depends. Depends.
All isn't being...
Indeed, it is dependent on the type of person and beyond just whether they're the kind of person who do a creative passion project or to try and get an analytics result. It's more complex than this by a lot.
Met to achieve success, but because the initial goal to share has failed, leaving a sense of creative dissatisfaction. The user whose intentions aren't as good faith is likely to feel less...
Good faith? Good faith has nothing to do with it.
To the video, and so is quicker to move on, seeing the next video as another opportunity to pull at a slot machine. This situation leaves...
No, I don't think necessarily. Someone could. They could just as easily be disheartened because they absolutely fucked up totally. The person making a passion piece could at least be content in that the outcome is as they desired, even if people didn't see it. The guy who just wanted results and didn't get results, total failure. It could be crushing.
The more creatively minded user more exposed to other elements that will impact them. If the video does well in viewership but is poorly received, they are more likely to feel that sense of dissatisfaction. And even if the user would somehow eventually end up making all of the same videos as the other user, the element of care would naturally slow them down as the process becomes more meticulous. If you wanted to game the system, the deck's already stacked in your favor, not to mention factors like A/B testing on titles and thumbnails that, on YouTube at the very least, encourages the user to treat the platform as a place where the goal is to maximize output, retention, click-through rate, at the expense of what they think makes for a better creation. Very few people who view the thumbnail as art are rewarded by the system. YouTube as a platform encourages very specific editing styles that are more conventionally watchable and, in my opinion, has developed a homogeneity among successful types of video that are posted to the platform. Now let's imagine there's a machine that will...
You're in a bubble of a particular kind of content.
Automatically make that video for you. Oh, wait. Someone with a creative perspective will almost always find this a little bit repulsive. It feels almost...
Like, YouTube still has the whole video of a cat that got 10 million views shit.
As if you're just taking someone else's work. And that's before the fact that Sora and every other video generator is actually just taking someone else's work. There's a lack of a creative element here.
How do I explain? It's like I feel there's like a have your cake and eat it mindset here. You want to be the person who pops off making that kind of content, but you have a problem with what's necessary for that kind of content to pop off, and you're not willing to just do something else instead.
Missing a step between initial conception and outcome, instead having the person who interacted with the machine choosing which outcome they prefer. To the person who's viewing the platform as a place to see a return on investment, this is a dream come true. They're able to rapidly produce at a pace that lets them see each video as data to refine the outcome, honing in on what provides them the most success. As you might be able to tell,
that's also information and an understanding of reception, and an understanding of how their creation is received, which I think makes them more of an artist than the person who's doing it out of passion. As I understand art and what I value in an artist's abilities.
I don't have the most glowing opinion on AI. There's much wider ethical concerns of how do we stop this from being used with actively malicious intention, to which I'll say the biggest murderer in the room looks around and only sees murder weapons, but if you give him a knife, what worries me within the scope of my own life is what it's doing to creative incentive. I don't think it's unfair to say that there's a large majority of businesses advertising on YouTube that just probably shouldn't exist. Personally, I'd push back against a toothbrush that feels the need to advertise itself as something challenging and interesting. But I must admit, perhaps someone really feels a genuine need to make
He doesn't ad block?
Another toothbrush. In the case of Base 44, however, there's not a lot to say beyond poison. They want to feed you poison. It's a platform that builds platforms that's primarily being pushed as a money-making venture. Get a business up and running in minutes should be a red flag to anyone who cares about making something worth having. And a red flag to any businessman who runs a business that's got ethics anywhere in the realm of consciousness. What do we sell? How do we sell it? What are the security concerns here? What's the practical addressable market? Why is this the thing that we sell? Are all questions for later. Hell, just generate some business ideas and be on your merry way, looking for the next customer to...
I can't relate to this because I ad block.
Reel in for your products that you don't know anything about. I fucking hate this shit. What's frustrating is that a platform like Base 44 or any other AI-driven nightmares aren't intrinsically poison. It makes a thing clumsily. And by itself, that's not really an issue. What is a problem is that the people who are best able to utilize the outcome will naturally be the least creatively sincere. People who understand business as a way to make money with the aim...
Right. Creative insincerity is when you understand business as a way to make money.
To make excessive amounts of money rather than a way to provide something that is needed or wanted. Yes.
You've been raped. You've been raped by ads. You've been raped by ads by businesses that want to make an excessive amount of money by convincing you they're providing you something and that they have your interests in mind. You are meta-raped to death.
This is not a new problem. It's not that AI has created any of these modes of thinking. Business has been just absolutely suffocated by this thinking for basically all of existence. It's that AI encourages the worst traits among people and gives them the most immediate manifestation. When ChatGPT is being used by someone who doesn't quite understand a topic and just...
There's a problem though. My brain does that. You know all the like crazy videos people make with Sora? I can just do that. I can't show it to you, but I can just do that.
Needs a jumping off point, only to find that it's pulling information out of its arse and is mostly wrong. It's not really a problem. The most inefficient way to find out what they wanted to know Sometimes, however, its use case is one where the user speeds up a discovery phase. It's used to find their way into a topic and then discarded the moment that they found the resources to do their own research. Maybe that research was really interesting to them and eventually is morphed into some kind of creative work, but it's created from the user's interactions between themselves and the research that they've done. It's creatively sincere, although I probably would call it creatively misguided. When someone's using ChatGPT to generate a book so that it can be sold on Amazon under a title that's similar to the title of a major book, we can call that creatively insincere, but we can also justify it as a scam. It's an extreme that we all agree is bad. Using generative features to make something that you didn't want to make in the first place, though, even if it's less...
How much do I care?
...actively malicious, is still malicious. And this is kind of the problem. If you wanted to run a mislabeling scam prior to ChatGPT, you had to find a ghostwriting company who was willing to take the risk or do it yourself. There was still distance between you and malice. Now the length of time for the
moment you decide you want to do that is when there is malice. If it's a malicious act, and your intentions are born of malice, you wish to cause harm, the malice exists the second you decide you would do that. Malice doesn't manifest upon action being taken. No.
Still distance between you and malice. Now the length of time for the creatively sincere might be shortened slightly, but the person who benefits the most is the one whose intentions are on the floor. It increases the rate in which trash is made, and if you don't find success filling Amazon, YouTube...
I don't think it does. We just end up with different kinds of trash. Or or maybe trash that's harder to identify as trash. I think there's like an underestimation of the sheer volume of trash people shit out using pencil and paper.
Redbubble, anything that lets you kind of just put your spam on it, you're in luck. All the old methods of creative insincerity still exist. Go and make a course on how to sell AI-generated books. Hell, why make it yourself when you can ask ChatGPT to do it for you? It doesn't intrinsically encourage creative insincerity, but it does empower those who are. When you combine that with platforms that are encouraging creative insincerity, though, it's a massive problem. YouTube currently has a feature that will AI generate video ideas for you, based on what is popular with people who have already subscribed to your channel. And I deeply hate it. It is a section dedicated to the insincere, actively encouraging the user to write about things a machine has identified as doing well. A part of what frustrates me about...
Okay. I think this is only a problem if you don't have a soul. I think this is only an issue if you don't, like straight up, if you don't have a soul. And you need to not have this stimulus, else you risk having your will stifled.
It though is that it encourages the idea that you should regurgitate what has worked, that you should be a fountain of infinite product, and when the creative fuel has been burned out to its end, don't worry, YouTube is there to do the work for you. The thing is, it's not your work. This is the vision of the machine. And as sections of AI...
It's not a vision at all. When you see like a cool looking rock and it inspires you, does he think that's neat? I need to know his opinion. What's he think of like scholar stones and stuff like that? Literally just a rock you look at and it's neat and it inspires, stimulates thought, right? If someone can like be cool with that, it's not that hard to see why it's fine to be inspired by a machine's output.
propagate through platforms to encourage people to view creative work as a commodity first and foremost, not only am I frustrated, but I feel what is mine slip further and further away. That the insincere has gone from a
like when you see YouTube suggesting video topics, if you act on that, if you use that as stimuli, it's not like you've replaced your fucking brain.
Freak show at the depths of the platform to what I am actively being asked to chase. When YouTube pushes out a new AI generation feature, videos based on what viewers...
That's not your actual idea, it's The Rock's. Plagiarizing the creator. Plagiarizing God.
Similar to your own watch, or automatically dubbing my video into another language, I feel a bit sick. It is so blatantly, creatively insincere. And in the case of automatic dubbing, yes, you could make a strong case for accessibility. However, at that point, I'm not even...
I feel like my mind is too powerful. My powers of interpretation are too keen that they can overpower authorial intent.
Really in the video. I have been excluded from my own creative...
Because the thing you make is really a tool to make things up here, which I am in part of an author of. Simple as.
Sincerity. It's my upload, but it's not my video. You wouldn't even...
You're only really giving me a paintbrush that I use to draw on my own mind through interpretation, so...
Listening to me. To be clear, this isn't a frustration at lazy forms of entertainment.
What? Stop. Hang on.
My own creative sincerity. It's my upload, but it's not my video.
Why do I give a fuck? Why does that matter to me? And why couldn't that mattering to me be a positive, neutral, or even just interesting?
You wouldn't even be listening to me.
So? Why do I want to be? Who the fuck are you?
To be clear, this isn't a frustration at...
I'm interested in what I'm listening to.
Lazy forms of entertainment. Vertical video makes me want to vomit, however it's conceptually harmless. The platform of TikTok has bred a culture of narcissism, and my frustration is more on the creative insincerity that the platform elevates. My problem isn't with people uploading videos of their dogs doing completely inane shit or part 400 of their King's Quest Let's Play, because that is creatively sincere for them. I couldn't give a shit, but they do.
Right.
And that's beautiful. It's a frustration with tools and
little bit condescending
platforms that are smothering the flame of creative sincerity and encouraging those to see creativity as a commodity. Unfortunately, I do think AI is here to stay. This isn't a cryptocurrency fad. The platforms we exist on...
But is it people who would... Are the people who are doing that people who would otherwise be creating things with the intent you'd prefer they were creating with? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Will likely never remove a feature that I'd imagine is pushing more to be made at a higher rate, which in turn makes for more ads displayed, which in turn push more cash towards the features that encourage content as a product. It develops a platform.
What are you fucking doing? What the fuck? I just, like, half an hour ago, I set this stream up to send people over to Chud when I'm done. What's going on? You've ruined everything! Go away! Make him stream again and go watch him. Fuck. I'll welcome. I'll keep going a couple minutes longer.
Where the aspiration is drawn from being the biggest
oh no!
rather than being your...
Hey, Chud Raid. Hey, Goksters. Goksters microwavable sheeness. Check this out. Now that I have you, go check out this channel. It's crazy. It's deranged. Pink Vortex food channel. Insane, right? Go check this out.
Best. Whatever that best might be. It certainly isn't something new, again.
The gay drink debate. What's that? Can you explain it in the chat, or do I need to watch something?
What AI does and platform prodding encourages are the worst in human behavior. It just feels...
I don't know, man. There's some worse things.
As if it's accelerating at a pace that makes me and many other people uncomfortable. If you're wondering what the purpose of this video was, it was to air out some of my own frustrations.
Gotcha.
It is an angry video, but in umming and ahhing about whether this video actually contributes to any form of worth for anyone that isn't myself, I'm hoping that if you also feel a rapidly developing disdain for the state that online media is in, between the tools and the platforms, whether you're...
I reject this meta-narrative about the state of online content. Is a pina colada a gay drink? No. But it's close. It's close. It's a drink for women who hang out with gay guys. But it's not a gay drink itself. That's my read. I don't think gay men drink it, but like people who are friends with gay men drink it. But if they're friends with gay people and they like the gay, maybe they like it because it is a gay drink. Do gay people drink gay drinks? Or do people who like gay people drink gay drinks, which aren't necessarily... Chud drinks fruity drinks? There's only one fruity drink I go for. I'll drink a zombie. I had a good cocktail at a place called Opium in London, where you go upstairs and into the secret rooms. And I had a drink they call the Ming Fashioned, and it's a twist on an old fashioned made with Szechuan baijiu. It's good as fuck.
A creator or a viewer.
Szechuan cocktails are everywhere now, and I highly recommend them. If you ever find yourself in Manchester again, if you want incredible Chinese food, go to a place called Tattoo. They have restaurants in other places, but I've been to the one in Manchester. And one of the drinks they have is called the Emperor's Sigil, and it's a Szechuan whiskey sour. It's fucking good as fuck. So good.
This video acts as some kind of proof that you're not the only one wondering if anything is creatively sincere anymore. And that this video is proof that, at the very least, some of it is.
Chud said something about spicy drinks. If Chud likes his like girly sweet drinks, go to Tattoo. There's a bubblegum cocktail that is really good. Lucky Bee had it, and I had a sip of it. It's really, really great. They make one of the liqueurs themselves. I think they make the bubblegum liqueur itself themselves. Has Chud been going to cocktail bars? Is that what he's been doing? How did you get onto him talking about cocktails? Because I'm a huge cocktail enjoyer. I like cocktails. I'm more of a sort of short drink kind of guy. I'm not a like tall and fruity drink. I'm a short drink, concentrated, strong. I like notes of tobacco. I like smoke. I like spice. Of drinking fruity drinks and huffing poppers. Hey, now those are only intended for deodorizing rooms. There's a place, probably gay bars, but saying you just go into cocktail bars. Where does Chud live? Dox him right now. Do we know roughly like where he lives? I don't. By which I mean, could he get to Manchester easily? Oh, there's a video of it. Oh, it's called The Wash House, not The Washroom. Lives in Britain. Thanks for that. That helps.
Hello and
this
welcome
place.
to another video. My name's Axel. I'm Sean, and today we are here in Manchester to explore this unique and quirky little bar that you can see right behind.
Whatever.
It's called the
Fast
Wash House,
forward.
and it's got quite a unique theme, hasn't it, Sean? Yep, it's a secret bar. You have to go in through the vending machine and buzz up to get in, basically. It's very,
You buzz up and the vending machine opens.
very cool. I've never been before. I've heard good things.
South of England. Okay, so hey, so like London's gonna be easy to get to, surely, if he's in the south. I mean, England's small. England's fucking small. Everywhere is easy to get to from anywhere. But in terms of going somewhere just to try a particular cocktail, if you're down south, you're probably not gonna go to Manchester just for that. This place is fucking great. Yeah. This is the menu they had when I was there. They have themed menus, and when I was there, and apparently now, they had conspiracy theory themed cocktails. The alien abduction one was really good. It was like an ube ice cream one. I think that's the chupacabra one that he's got right there. Let's try but if Chud's down south, I recommend a place called Opium. This isn't Opium. Is this Opium? I can't tell. Why are they being fucking weird? This is probably Opium. They've got different levels. I've only been in one level. Of it. But they do good as fuck cocktails at Opium. I don't know about gin ones. I had a Baijiu cocktail. Lucky Bee got a lemon drop that was too spicy for her. Oh, where's another good one? Another good cocktail place. Prohibition in Chester. They burn incense in there, so it's smoky. So it's like people are smoking even though they aren't smoking. This video is fucking ass. This is the worst video of all time, by the way, just in case you didn't realize. They have a whole ton of different old fashions there, and I really recommend going to Prohibition in Chester and getting their cigarette-inspired cocktail called It's Toasted. The Lucky Strikes reference one, yeah. Very good. What do I have here? I've got too many long videos to look at. I'm going. Thank you for like the Gawk raid. I'm kind of sick. I'm recovering from being sick, so I'm not extending streams. Sorry to waste the raid. Who's live? Who do I know on YouTube who's live? I should probably pass people forward, even though I'm sure many of them have disappeared after being cocked on. After being cocktailed on. Let me, tastes like... Tobacco liqueurs taste good. Smoke in a cocktail tastes real good. Different woods taste goods. Who's fucking... No one I'm subscribed to is live, but I'm not really subscribed to anyone on YouTube. What the fuck? I'm leaving. Bye. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. If I'm still okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Seems like I'm stable now, though. I'm in a lot of pain all the time. I'm boogieing out. I'm in a tremendous amount of pain. Life is hell. Except not emotional pain. My fucking ribcage hurts. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by, Chud Raiders. Sorry I'm not going for longer. I was going to raid Chud today because I finally figured out how to do it. I finally figured out how to do YouTube raids and he fucking raids me, motherfucker. See you tomorrow. Good night. Sleep time. Don't let the gummy zombie brain bite. Go watch my food channel. I'll put it in the chat. There you go. There you go. There's some content for you. See ya.